Dragon Ball Super Episode 90 is now officially in the history books as we move forward into Dragon Ball Super Episode 91, and joining me here today to discuss the topic of our predictions for Dragon Ball Super Episode 91 are two very special guests, that being Devil Artemis and Emish is Live. Of course, if you guys want to go on ahead and check their channels out, I'm going to go on ahead and link their channels down in the description below as we move forward into the upcoming episode. And again, guys, if you guys have anything to add on to this conversation, if anyone's opinions differ, drop your comments down below. Boys, Dragon Ball Super Episode 90 was the episode that we've been waiting for a very long time, in seeing Gohan having to fight his father, something that we've been wanting to see now ever since Dragon Ball Z when Ultimate Gohan was first introduced. But Dragon Ball Super Episode 91 introduces something a little interesting that I found to be very fascinating, in the idea that we get to see Frost and Hit. But the question is, what are they doing? Are they training? Is there some sort of problem between the two? Because we get to see a small shot of Frost having to attack Hit, and if you pay close attention, if you pause the frames, we get to see that Frost has a small needle on the tip of his tail, and we get to see a certain shot where we see the needle hit, Hit's face, and it has little to no effect as to, the connection. So I wanted to get your thoughts as to what's going on between Hit and Frost. What are your overall predictions going into next week's episode? We do understand that Majin Buu is going to fall asleep, and we see everyone gathering together, and it looks like now there's a disturbance in them having to realize, like, okay, we're down one person. So I want to start with Devil. Devil, what are your overall thoughts on Frost and Hit? What are they doing, and what are your overall expectations going into next week's episode?
Well, thanks for having me on the channel, Alex, again.
No doubt, man.
And, for the preview, the setting seems a little bit darker than usual. I feel like Hit, I don't know if he's encountering Frost. I don't really think they're training, but he's definitely encountering Frost. I don't think that Frost would be fighting Hit or trying to kill him unless he has some kind of power boost or some new technique.
Right.
And it seems that this whole tail thing, I guess that's new, but I don't think it's working against Hit. You said that it seemed to not have phased him. If you actually look at the video and you slow it down and you check out frame by frame, Hit actually moves his face a little bit. So I think he dodges it, the needle.
So what do you think that needle is? Is it poison, as we've seen before?
I think Frost has learned to work his body better.
Modify his body.
Yeah, he obviously has things that Frieza don't have. He has this poison, these needles that he can use in his body. We saw it first in the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament, but now that I'm looking at it now, it seems that now he can fire it like a projectile, and maybe he has new uses for it. Maybe he has a new use for the technique that we're gonna see in the Tournament of Power. But I don't think they're training. I definitely don't. There has to be a reason as to why Hit has encountered Frost in this dark ass alleyway that does not involve rape.
Yeah, he looks like he's in exile. Like he has like that, Luke Skywalker robe on. He looks lost and confused.
Yeah, he does. I mean, there has to be a reason. No, we're here in this dark ass alleyway with nobody's looking around.
The only person we need is Zarbon in the mix, right?
Exactly. I mean, it takes one person to say something wrong to get it freaky. So I'm just saying, Hit definitely. I don't think the way that he's looking at Frost. I mean, Hit is always a serious person, but I do not think that they're training. I think Hit is either trying to test his power in a serious fight, or maybe Hit is out to get Frost. Who knows? We don't know until the next episode shows. But those are my predictions.
And that's the thing about those two. It's like we saw, the last time they actually had a confrontation was when Frost tried to steal that cubicle, and when Hit knocked him out. So if you look at Frost's face, there are scratches, there are marks on his face, so maybe, Frost, has engaged Hit in some sort of form of combat, and maybe they're engaging of that, and I do think that because this is the first time we're seeing these two in this arc, maybe this is the recruitment process, in the fact that either A, Vados recruits them, because Vados was the one to bring Hit onto the team, so maybe she's the one that finds him and talks to him, or either Kaba does it, since Kaba has a lot of pressure on him. But I want to talk to Emish. Emish, what are your thoughts going into next week's episode in seeing Frost and Hit, and what are your overall expectations in seeing everyone gather together and discuss this whole mystery between Majin Buu having to fall asleep?
Well, if we remember from last time in the Universe 6 and 7 tournament, Hit was actually hunting down Frost. Frost was on the run, right? So he was actually like a war criminal, I guess, supposedly. So in his universe, they were hunting him down. He was a wanted criminal. So I think Hit was sent to actually find him. Hit could be playing the role that Goku's playing right now and helping to get the team together. Perhaps he goes to hunt him and gives him an offer, you know, that, listen, we need you for the team, or da-da-da. Champa told me to come and get you, or Vados told me to come and get you. I would say that's the reason for that scenario right there, potentially. So, because it makes sense. I mean, right now, Hit can practically find anybody. It doesn't matter where you are. We see that when Hit went to go find Goku on Universe 7.
Yeah, but
different universe.
Does Hit really look like the type of guy to be recruiting people?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Maybe somewhere along the line in the episode, we'll be given some insight, because we know Frost is going to be in the tournament. We know he's going to be in the tournament. So unless they switch him out for somebody, I don't know.
Which I doubt, yeah.
Right. No, so yeah, but anything other than that, I would say that's probably the best prediction that I can give as far as the interaction between those two.
I think that
specifically
we saw during the extended preview that Bergamo's talking to Sidra. I definitely think that Bergamo is going to play the role of the mouthpiece of this tournament. Now, what I mean by that is either during, before, or after, whenever this thing takes place, Bergamo's going to be the one similar to what he did before in pointing out that Goku's the one. He's the guy that's going to make everyone do this. Target him. Because he looks like one of those guys that kind of hypes everyone up in turning against someone, because as we saw prior to them even fighting, he turned the gods against Goku, even to where all the gods literally turned their giant cubicles in looking at him, and Goku just looked like he was about to crap himself. So in next week's episode, do you think it's going to be more or less the calm before the storm, or do you think that there's going to be some bits and pieces of interaction between Vegeta going off to train, in which, in case you guys haven't seen before, myself, Devil Artemis, and Emish's Live did a video as to how will Vegeta do in the Tournament of Power. We have a separate video on that located down below. But do you think it's going to be more or less a calm before the storm kind of thing, or is it going to be an episode that includes some action here and there?
I think it's the calm before the storm.
What do you think?
Because we got a lot of previews, and in the previews we saw like 4 different scenes. We saw a scene with the Pride Troopers, we saw the scene with Vegeta, we saw the scene with Hit and Frost, and then we saw the scene where all the contestants gather and there's something wrong with Boo. So I think there's just too much going on for us to actually have some kind of legitimate action as to where we can come back with the same hype level that episode 90 delivered. So with that being said, I don't think we're going to get a lot of action in the next episode. I think it's the calm before the storm. This episode was amazing, by the way. So I would assume that they're gonna just let us just, you know, simmer in the hype until the actual tournament starts potentially. Oh no,
absolutely. And by the way, guys, myself, Devil Artemis, and Emish's Live have a very special video dropping on Monday, in which I do want to discuss something, and I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a preview. Gohan said, and I quote, "My goal is an ultimate form that no one has ever seen before. I'm going to aim for that with a different method than you. Strong guys from all around the universe are going to gather for this tournament, Gohan. But I've been forgetting that, Gohan, this entire time, you've been right here beside me." That's a very interesting quote that I want to get into in our next video. But Devil, so do you think it's going to be a calm, like a calm before the storm kind of thing, or do you expect to see some action? Because I'm calling it now. I don't think that next week's episode is going to have nearly the same action as we did today on episode 90, because this episode is just phenomenal, I think, from start to finish. So what are your overall thoughts into how the pacing is going to be for next week's episode?
Well, I want to agree with you. You know, this episode was absolutely wonderful. You know, this episode was awesome. Had great animation, great action, but I feel like next week's episode definitely going to have a slower pacing to it. After reviewing the preview, I mean, it seems that they're going to be giving out a lot more information. So it seems, you know, the Grand Priest is going to be explaining, I guess, planet Earth to the Omni Kings, and Gohan is going to be reviewing, I guess, a plan with the Supreme Kai.
Who's wearing a construction hat, by the way.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That I don't know what was it about. Maybe they're
probably bored out their minds, because we do know that based on the translations, they want this thing to start already. So they're probably just so bored they're just playing around with like construction tools or whatever. It's kind of funny if you ask me.
You also have to keep in mind they're childish. So I mean, they could be just, you know, messing around. But this isn't the first time that we've seen them play a game before. I mean, they were playing that marble game where they were like throwing planets around. But it seemed like the Grand Priest was explaining to the Omni King about Earth and the contestants there. And then there's another scene that I want to focus on, which is Gohan when he's talking to the Supreme Kai, because Gohan has now been elected as the leader of this team, it seems that he's trying either to develop a plan or he's explaining something to the Supreme Kai. I feel like the next episode is going to be very slow paced, and we're just going to learn a lot more information, which is a big problem, I guess, in Dragon Ball, with a lot of talking and very little action. But technically, it has to be done, because if this tournament is about to begin, I don't expect them to be talking if there's 80 people in the arena. You know, I expect the action to be lit as hell. Like, I expect the Tournament of Power to be really good. So I hope once the tournament starts, that's when the action picks up. Now, for next week's episode, I'm just really looking forward to the preview, where we'll probably get a glimpse of Frieza.
Yep.
Also, this episode might focus on the other universes more. Episode 91, I'm saying.
In which they do, I think. They have to.
Yeah, they have to, because they've been focusing on Goku and crew for a while now. It's only right that we get to see the other universes, and what better than Universe 6, which is the one that we're most familiar with due to the previous tournament.
Right.
So they're definitely going to focus on the other universes, which is why we get a glimpse of Frost and we get a glimpse of Hit. But yeah, the next episode, I mean, I'm not super hype about it. There's not going to be something big, a big reveal or anything like that I'm expecting. But it's definitely an episode that's going to be worth watching, because it's going to have valuable information, and we're definitely going to learn more about the other universes, which I think is important, especially if we're going into this tournament and there are other universes involved.
And what about you, Emish? Do you think like we're going to see more or less more of the Pride Troopers? Because like I said before, this is the first time that we're seeing you know, Hit in this arc, and Frost. We haven't seen Frost in ages. But like in terms of like the other universes, what are your overall thoughts on having to see them? And do you think they're going to focus more on other fighters? Because we also saw on the short preview as well a girl with like green hair and stuff. So do you think it's going to center itself around other universes or just ours?
No, they're going to give some glimpses of the other universes, I imagine. According to the previews, like I said before, we got 4 different scenes with Universe 7. We got some from Universe 11.
Right.
This episode, we got Universe 10, which, by the way, Universe 10 is a joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Protein shakes, we're about to get into that.
They actually stopped Gowasu from talking just to have a protein shake break.
And did you see Gowasu's look? His face, he was like, bro, you got to be kidding me.
Right? And Ramush is a... Oh my god.
No, but then again, that's Ramush's character. He doesn't, all he cares about is his rank. That's why when he told Gowasu, he was like, we're gonna win, aren't we? and Gowasu's like, bro, we're doomed. Remember Piccolo when Gotenks first fought Boo? When Gotenks first fought Boo, and they were in the time chamber, and Gotenks was just messing around, the first thing Piccolo did was facepalm, and he was like, we're doomed.
Yeah, we're dead.
That was pretty much Gowasu. But I wanted to get your thoughts now, because there's not much to go off of for next week other than seeing Frost and Hit do their business, in which I do think that it is going to be a recruitment process, and I think that Vados is going to play a role, because she was the one that brought Hit into the Universe 6 tournament before, so it'll only make sense for her to find him, since you know, since she's an angel, and I think that she has more leniency and more abilities in order to track people down than Champa does. But going into what happened on this episode 90, Tien, I think. I'm sorry. Anyone out there who's a Tenshin Han fan, I apologize in advance. He is the biggest waste of space in this tournament. Because you're going to replace Majin Buu with Frieza when they could have replaced Tien with Frieza, thus having Majin Buu and Frieza on the same team. Because we saw in this episode, Tien literally only took 3 shots and he was done. The first shot was when he charged Piccolo, Gohan stepped in, punched him in the gut. The second time was when he tried to fire off the Tri-Beam, Gohan pointed his finger and just blasted the ground around Tien, which like pretty much, you know, stumped him. And then we saw how Gohan hammer striked him through the entire mountain. After Tien got up, he was like, I'm done. So that was just a disgrace. I think that was the biggest waste of time.
You know why? I think it's due to the fault of Goku and Gohan not really telling what's on the line. You see what I'm saying? Maybe Tien could have given... I think Tien would have given a little more effort if he didn't just think, guys, we're just practicing, right? Like, guys, you know.
Oh yeah, we're just practicing, guys. I mean,
Gohan, just stop it. We can see how strong you are, Gohan. God damn it, that hurt. Like, you know, like, bro.
It's just an exhibition.
Did you see the look on his face after Gohan one-shotted him in the stomach? He was like, oh,
no, he crapped himself. But that's the tremendous power that Gohan emits, which is what I want to talk about real fast. So he is the new team leader. He's going into this, seeing his fight with Goku, his demeanor. Yo, 90 episodes later, and keep in mind, Dragon Ball GT in its entirety was only 67 episodes, right? We're 90 episodes into this franchise, and Gohan did nothing. But now he did something, and he fared up against his father. Now, some people and many people in our Discord and many people maybe in the comments are going to agree or disagree on this. Was Kaioken needed to put Gohan down? He was forcing his father and using all of his power, in which every single time they fought, Gohan kept saying, more power, full strength, full strength. Goku said, fine, I'll do what you ask. And he did. And he knocked him out. He knocked his son out via Kaioken. Would you agree with this or disagree in Goku having to use Kaioken to put Gohan down? Or do you think Super Saiyan Blue was just all that was needed to put him down for the count? What do you guys think?
Look, okay, here's why. When we talked last week about this, right? We talked specifically about the minimum that was required was Super Saiyan Blue.
Yes,
if they wanted to show off, the new merchandise that is Gohan, his return, and to increase his market value, and to increase the hype factor for this tournament, and to please the fans, and to make Gohan great again, and to actually make him seem like, okay, you know what? This time around, he's coming back. He's not going to repeat the same mistakes he did in the Cell arc. He's not going to repeat the same mistakes he did in the Buu arc. He's coming back. He came in this episode with a purpose. I'm so glad. And we talked about this originally when I said, listen, if they give it to us, they have to give us enough. They gave us enough, Alex. I swear to God. I don't care if anybody says that guy Emish, he's an asshole, he's fanboying, kill yourself. I don't care what anybody says. I'm sorry. If Super Saiyan Blue was used to display what 17 and Krillin can do, or just Krillin's determination, his will to fight again, right? Not his strength, but his will to fight again, and 17 overall, right? Then we have Gohan, who's demanding that you go full strength, and Goku does it. And if the Kaioken, when I saw that, I was like, no way, but no way in a good way, right? And then I was like, oh my goodness, okay, but there's no way he's gonna beat him, no way. Then when they collided and they had that little animation where it just, you know, flashed out, I was like, oh my God, don't tell me Gohan won. As much as I would love for him to win, it just wouldn't make sense. That would trigger me, even that would trigger me. So when I saw that he lost, I was like, oh God, they did it right. Thank you so much. You know, I was so happy. This episode was absolutely amazing, and this is what we needed. Now I don't care what happens after this. Until the Tournament of Power starts, I'm happy. I'm good. I'm satisfied.
What do you think, Devil? Do you think he should have used Kaioken or the opposite?
Well, I mean, it's not. The question shouldn't be whether I think he should have used Kaioken. I feel like the question is, should he have used Super Saiyan Blue in general?
Really? Okay. Well, why do you feel that way?
I'm saying it in terms of, I think Super Saiyan Blue would have been enough for Gohan. Like the fact
realistically,
that Gohan,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, the fact that Gohan was fighting Super Saiyan Blue, like if we look back to the episode and Goku, throws his punch at Gohan, Gohan punches back. There's a scene where they clash at each other and Gohan catches Goku's punch, and then he uppercuts Goku. He
uppercuts him into the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, he uppercuts the shit out of him into the sky, and then Goku transforms to the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken.
Yeah, but then again, to Goku's defense, that attack did nothing to Goku. It had no effect.
But then you'd think Gohan, somebody who was fighting quote unquote full power with the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, right? Even though Goku told him you need to, give more power, release more power. Goku was telling Gohan that. Obviously, I feel like Gohan was holding back only because it was his father. Even when he punched Goku in the face, I feel like he was showing remorse.
Well, I don't think so. I think he was asking for it. I really think he was asking. But then again, he asked for it for all the right reasons, because he knows that he's going to be fighting guys stronger than his dad, as he was there during the Zen exhibition. So he knows, like, okay, in order for me to fight people like my father, I'm going to have to fight my father at full strength. Right. So I disagree with Kaioken having to be utilized, because Kaioken was just overkill. He knocked his son out. I think Super Saiyan Blue in its entirety should have been enough as well. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's Gohan. He was asking for Goku to tap into his true power. But then again, you have to ask yourself, did he? No, he did not. Because Goku at quote-unquote full strength would have been Kaioken times 10. If he were to do that, I think Gohan would have died. But
he would have,
he would have perished. Like, that would have been it. You're asking your father to go all out. He went to that extent, but not to that extent. But I just feel as if you're right. Super Saiyan Blue should have been enough, but I'm just happy that Gohan acknowledged that he was gonna lose anyway, but he still tried. He still went in there and he was like, you know what? Even Piccolo, did you not see Piccolo's response? He was like, bro, Gohan, like, do it now, like, do what you have to. And then even while he did that, even after he got knocked out, and this is what I find fascinating. After he was knocked out, right? What did he do? He was stumbling up in the sky and he threw a punch. And even though he didn't connect the punch, he still had some life in him to just, after getting knocked out with such pressure, he still fought back. Even though he fell after that, you know, it's still what it was what it was. But do you think that because of this, Gohan's gonna gain some massive Zenkai boost in the tournament, or do you think that he's just gonna stay the way he is?
Well, Saiyans always improve with every battle, right? They get stronger with every battle. I feel like Gohan, because he fought Super Saiyan Blue and he wasn't knocked the hell out by one blow in the stomach from a Super Saiyan Blue, I feel like Gohan has some type of durability or some type of standard of power that he can handle attacks from a Super Saiyan Blue. While we compare another person, for example, like Kaba, who got his shit wrecked by Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue. Okay, I mean, of course, the Super Saiyan Blue form was a lot weaker, but the form itself was divine compared to a Super Saiyan like Kaba.
Right.
I feel like Gohan, his power should be right, if not on par with a basic Super Saiyan Blue form, it should be at least a little bit under it. Because I'm telling you, Gohan, he doesn't stand a chance against Kaioken, but he definitely stands a chance against Super Saiyan Blue. And if we're going to go into the tournament, he needs to have that power. He needs to have that type of power range from Super Saiyan Blue if he's going to make any difference. He's not going to make a difference. If Gohan was weak as hell, what good is to have him on the team? You know, which is why I'm kind of disappointed with Tien, because Tien is garbage. You know, when you were saying, you know, he got wrecked by a few shots, it's true. They should have kept Majin Buu and gotten rid of Tien. Unfortunately, Gohan, Vegeta, and Goku are going to have to pull most of the weight. But until we see what happens with Frieza, then we'll touch on Frieza. But for now, from the members that we have now, it seems that Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, and Android 17, I would say as well, they're all going to pull the weight. And the rest of the crew is just, I guess, going to have to work together and utilize the strong members of the team.
Amish, how do you feel about this?
Listen, I mean, we've already gone past the point where they showcase Krillin going up against Super Saiyan Blue. Whether you want to call it key control, whatever it is anybody wants to call it, that's fine. We've gone past the fact that 17 also went against Super Saiyan Blue. They both agreed they were holding back. Now we're at the point where for weeks, a lot of people, even people who aren't fans of Gohan, were even saying, well, how can Gohan get this strong in such a such a short amount of time? Okay, we've got past that point already. Okay, so let's not hold on to that. Then now we're here just before the tournament. Gohan actually has a chance to not be fodder, and everybody's like, well, he shouldn't be on par with the Super Saiyan Blue because it's divine. Okay, but you know, it's not like he's fighting Beerus. It's not like he's fighting another Hakaishin, or you know what I'm saying? That's where the tier is right there. Goku is still immortal anyway, so he's still in a position where someone could reach him theoretically. And the fact that Gohan even said it, listen, I'm gonna use my own method of training to get to where you are, or I'm trying to find a form for myself, something to say that this is Gohan, right?
Right.
So that in itself should tell people. And I just don't understand why people would disagree with it. Not because it's Gohan. I mean, if anybody did this, if anybody came and got this much of a power boost, who has been a nobody for such a long time, who has been a high in demand character, etc., and then he finally gets it, and then people are like, well, no, I don't agree with that. Well, why weren't these same people, you know, grabbing their pitchforks and torches when Krillin did it? Or when he was fighting with 17, or when he was fighting with Toppo. You sure what I'm saying? Toppo is, come on. I mean, Justice Tornado, Justice Hold, Justice Flash, Justice. I mean, you sure what I'm saying? So I'm not saying Toppo is fodder, but I am saying there should be more than one person on our team who is capable of at least taking Toppo out. The likes of Toppo, if not, you know what I'm saying? So the new limit in Goku's case would be Jiren. So they're creating this tier for a reason. So they have Jiren the Grey, who's expected to be stronger than what Goku is right now. That should be able to, you know, let people settle down a little bit once we see the other members of the tournament. But for people to just say, well, I don't agree with the power scaling in Super, what do you mean? We're 90 episodes in and now you disagree with the power scaling? 90 episodes in. I disagreed with it maybe into the Goku Black Zamasu arc. I was just like, whoa, this is some crazy stuff that's going on over here. What's going on? You see what I'm saying? So this episode gave everybody what they needed to see. Whether or not they liked it is not really an issue, but it gave everybody what they needed to see. It now tells us that we actually have 3 people on this team who are going to be clutch. Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan. Those are the 3 main characters. Everybody else after that, still strong.
Preach.
Right, still strong, but not. I don't think we should be focusing on them. I will say though, I was like, whoa, I was kind of surprised that Goku did give Gohan the actual role as being the leader of the team. That to me, I was
that's
like,
a good idea,
whoa.
I think.
Whoa, yeah, I mean, no, I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying I was surprised. I was like, okay,
of course, yeah.
But I'm just gonna end off by saying this: please do not do what you did to Gohan. Here, don't do what you did to him here in the actual Buu arc. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because in the Buu arc, they brought him back. He was originally designed to kill Buu, and then all of a sudden they scrapped it, gave it back to. Then they brought in, Goku. Then they brought in Vegeta and all this other stuff. I mean, please let it. If you guys are gonna push Gohan, fine, but push him and just don't hold back after that. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that.
And we see his role next week. I mean, he's playing the role of like the leader. He has like this giant whiteboard in front. He has everyone's name and stuff. So I think that having him as a team leader is a very good idea. In the fact that I do think that he's going to provide excellent support in being a captain and guiding his team. Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, Goku really cares about Goku. Goku only cares about having to fight the strongest, getting stronger from that, and pushing his own limits. I really doubt that Goku really cares about, oh man, I'm going to have to work with Piccolo on this one. I just think Goku cares about going in there and just having a smash mouth fight with anybody he can get his hands on. So post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on next week's episode? I can't wait to see Hit and Frost, because something's going on with those two. I think that more or less one person has to be looking for the other, in the fact that they still probably have beef after what happened with Universe 6. But post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more news, information, and updates. If you guys enjoyed the discussion, be sure to go ahead and slap a like on the video. Check out Emish's Live and Devil Artemis down below. And on that note, guys, we'll be seeing you all in the next Dragon Ball video. Take it easy, guys. Peace.